Thanks for staying with us. Welcome to the show. I am Mariah Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Mariam Longe.
Hello, Mariah.
I was reading the script. How are you doing, Mariam?
I'm fine, thank you. So next week I'll start visiting schools again.
Yay!
Looking forward to it. You know, some of the other schools last year, you know, with schools you have to work by calendar. So some of the schools have like a new calendar and they've put us in. So for any other schools that are looking to have us, we're available to come read my book. We'll show them a little, you know, clip of videos on the vultures. We'll talk about our environment and just educate our children in such a fun and engaging way. I love to do it. I love meeting the children, and I just love going to these schools. So yay!
We're excited about that. Yeah, you're educating where it counts. You know, we can talk to us, and we will just feel like, but the children, they take it very seriously.
Yeah.
I'm excited about the weekend. I have nothing serious planned. Site inspection, new location. I'm recruiting, and I don't like saying it on TV because then you would say you're looking for a surveyor with engineering experience, and somebody who studied accounting will send you CV. Like, I know people are looking for jobs, but this is what I want. I want customer service. I want marketer. They will just send you somebody that's random business admin.
I will give you a certified, experienced one. So over 40 years experience.
I don't want those ones. I want someone that live in Ekpe. Honestly, I really.
Anyway, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, but
how are you doing?
Okay, behind this.
I'm fine. Just move repost to something else.
Yesterday, I traveled on the Korodu Expressway all the way home, and I counted about 5 NNPC filling stations. Fuel was selling at 184 naira per liter. And I just took the story in the paper in the morning yesterday that there will be a subtle removal of subsidy towards June.
Swift implementation.
Starting April, and the thing already started in January. So Nigerians, we should gear up, get ready.
All right, it's going to break. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
We're going to start with the nation. Back in the day, IU Deputy Sean Atiku's rally in Ibadan. Nigerians should expect life-defining infrastructure, says Tinubu. Why petrol is scarce by major marketers. Finance Minister economy on rebound. Lagos declares 4 work-free days for PVC collection. NJC decries state's failure to pay judges' retirement benefits and others. An explosion rocks APC rally in Port Harcourt. Okay, which story are we?
Let me take the PSA. Lagos State has declared 4 days work-free for civil servants so that they can go and collect their PVCs. The head of service announced it yesterday, and he says that these days start January 24th to 27th of 2023. The dates include grade levels 01, 03, 07, and 15. It will be January 24th. Levels 02, 04, 08, and 13, January 25th, and levels 05, 09, 12, and 17 is the 26th of January, and 6, 10, 14, and 16, January 27th. And also talking and appealing to the heads of these places to allow for their workers to go on these days so that they can collect their PVCs, and encouraging Nigerians to collect our PVCs because it is your civic responsibility.
So the flag bearer for the APC, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, was in Abuja yesterday at a consultative session with the leadership and members of the Federation of Construction Industry in Nigeria, FOCI, where he promised that Nigeria will be prosperous and better if elected. He said that his aspiration is not for personal reasons, adding that a better future for Nigerians' children is his goal. He also promised high-capacity telecommunications networks, constant energy supply, protection of oil and gas pipelines, and adequate power supply. He also said he will be modernizing the nation's airports, and also his dream would be to pursue and establish a new national carrier. He made quite a few promises and at the event, and it was good to see other people join him at that event. Okay.
Yeah. Yesterday, according to the NJC spokesperson, the National Judicial Council spokesperson, Soji, some states have decided to hold judges retirement benefits, severance pay, and gratuity, and even owe them pension. He disclosed this after the 100th meeting of the NJC yesterday and they condemn this in very strong terms. They also, said it contravenes rule of law, it undermines rule of law, and have directed that the state chief justice or judges of each state should file report on compliance going forward or non-compliance going forward, so that the council can deal with them not later than April 1st. But this is saddening because, this is a body or this is a profession that would like to have utmost independence and carry itself with the nobility that it requires. But when these kind of things, present judges are seeing what they are doing to past judges, they'll start to sort themselves. We don't want corruption to be, and already we're trying to rid the body of that. I don't understand why state governors or, payment establishment within states would be thinking it's normal to do this.
Major headline. So I want to take the story of the campaign, PDP campaign moves to the first of the G5 governors. This is the first campaign they are holding in Oyo State, and the governor, Seyi Makinde, was not present for the campaign. And they said that also led to the fact that it wasn't as crowded. So Mapo Hall, usually, if the governor was there, would have been full, serious traffic everywhere. They said it barely covered the front. They barely had enough crowd to cover the front of the hall. They also mentioned the Olubado, current Olubado of Ibadan, Oba Lekan Balogun, who was a senator between 1999 and 2003 under PDP, has asked for the candidate, that's Atiku, to reconcile with the governor. A member of the G5, that's the Benue State Governor, Governor Samuel Otom, explained that he doesn't like the impunity and that none of the G5 governors would join Atiku's campaign. He said the PDP leadership, they have been arrogant and they've been handling, there's a mischief in the way they handled the rift between Atiku and the aggrieved governors. But the campaign had Governor of Sokoto State, Governor of Osun State, Governor of Edo State, Bayelsa State Governor, Akwa Ibom State Governor, Dino Melaye, Sule Lamido. There were other people there, but just that the sitting governor of Oyo State was not present.
Hosting.
Hosting. They did not host. That's just that.
And the hosting governor, not
the hosting governor did not host.
Did not host. The Punch, rising petrol price hits 300 naira per litre. Slain NSCDC officers' families get automatic employment. UN issues new COVID-19 rules for air travel. Kano, FG probes 25 deaths from throat ailment. Core members need special life insurance for elections, says reps. FG revokes 3,402 mining titles. 2023, UK, EU, Australia issue security alerts. Article under fire for no votes, no contracts remarks. Explosion rocks South-South APC PDP rallies. So the flag bearer for the PDP has been under serious attack for his recent comments at the PDP rally where he was in Abeokuta, where he said that no work, no contract. So according to him, that no votes, exactly, no votes, no contract. According to him, that those members of the PDP who wish to get appointments and contracts in his administration must ensure the party wins, not just generally, but at their polls. He actually said that the members don't. It's not about walking around the political members or being visible that you are working. It's more about you ensuring that you win at your polls. That's the only way that you're going to get contracts or appointments from him. Obviously, other party are putting him under a lot of heat. One of which is the campaign spokesperson for the APC, that's Festus Keyamo, said that Atiku is already promising people contracts in disregarding the Public Procurement Act. That he's already promising this contract, and obviously a leopard never changes skin, that this is what they do when they come into power. So, I mean, these are little things you do, and you forget that there's people watching every step you take, every word you say, to analyze and, critique what your comments are, although the intention might not have been that. I don't think that's what you intended to do. We're just trying to make them, force them to work. Encourage them to work. That was his intention. Come and work. But hey,
these are political times.
Everything
if you cough, they will reinterpret it for you.
The Nigerian mining, NMC, I'm trying to get it again. Well, they disclosed that they've revoked about 3,402 mining licenses. And the Director General of the Nigerian Mining Cadastre Office, Mr. Obadiah Nkomi, he also disclosed that anybody willing, that's because he says this will, of course, bring litigations. And so if you're in need of a CTC or a citizen of a license of anybody or any company's document, they are willing to give to you because they expect that this will bring litigations. That some of those licenses got their licenses and just went to keep quiet. And that if after 30 days of getting your license, they will publish in their gazette, and once it's gazetted, you are expected to pick up your letters and start work. But you see, some people will fight for the license and just disappear without doing anything on that. So they immediately they revoke after 30 days and they publish all the revocations. And if you have any need for it, come. And you also disclose that the body made 3.7 billion naira in 2022.
All right, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Are you still reviewing Punch?
Yes.
Yes, you have a story.
I have the story of the outbreak of diphtheria in Kano State, the diphtheria infection in Kano State. So far, it has claimed not less than 25 lives. This was recorded, so it's described as a child killer disease, that it's easily transmitted, but also preventable by vaccines. It's a disease that affects the throat. The symptoms are like sore throat, and then you have hoarseness, swollen glands in the neck, difficulty breathing, rapid breathing, nasal discharge, fever and tiredness. And because it's an infection that could have been taken care of by vaccination, so it brings the question how this has happened. And the answer is, for most of the hard-to-reach areas in Kano State, these could be the reason why they have not gotten vaccinations or they are not vaccinated, as at when due. And NCDC is saying that they're doing all they can. They've set up a team that is helping with the cases and also doing further investigations and also encouraging vaccinations. We also have Doctors Without Borders who are there. They've set up camp in the Murtala Mohammed Specialist Hospital and Aminu Kano Teaching Hospital, and they are also, helping with treatments. So please, let's just try and do as much as we can with vaccinations. When I hear all these hard-to-reach areas for health, access to health, it really brings to focus how government is really not in so many places.
Yes, sir.
We cannot keep saying hard-to-reach areas in 2023. We need to find ourselves everywhere because the way it affects health is the way it affects insecurity.
Yeah,
Sure.
and that's why local government is so important.
Yeah.
We need to really strengthen local governments. They are the ones that reach.
Hard to reach area should
There's
not
nowhere
apply
should
to
be
local
hard to reach
government.
because there's a local government in every
Exactly.
single area.
Let me take the story of the UK, EU, and Australia have issued new security alerts. So they did this sometime last year before issuing security alerts concerning Nigeria, but now there is heightened alerts. Specifically, the EU is saying that they believe that because of the security challenges Nigeria is facing, the elections might not hold. He said the forthcoming general election, if it's not addressed, might significantly affect the stability of Nigeria. The UK government has issued that a nationwide election will take place between February and March, and that there will be danger within because of political rallies, protests, their predicted violent demonstration. And for me, I'm like, what's your business? Mind your business. Australia, on the other hand, I like their own move. In their statement, they said Nigeria is scheduled to hold elections, and because of the risk associated with elections, they would advise their citizens not to go to political gatherings or election sites, and that's an advisory to their own people. So I would like Western world to simply advise their people, don't start predicting anything that...
In countries that you don't live in.
In the countries that you don't live in based on intelligence.
I prefer the Australian one. Following the explosion that happened in Port Harcourt, where at the APC ground, it's advisable to tell your
If you don't have any business there,
thank you.
don't go.
Okay, I was going to take this. Let's move on now to another paper, Daily Sun. CBN to sanction banks over new Naira notes. FG approves new fuel pump price as scarcity persists. IGP presents 13.6 billion Naira checks to 6,128 families of deceased, injured police officers. That's good news. Enugu launches scheme to end multiple taxes on commercial vehicles. Only unpatriotic Nigerians will vote candidates with questionable character, says Obasanjo. Lagos declares 4 workday free for collection of PVCs. 2023 Atiku in Ibadan promises evolution of power, more of powers and more powers and resources to states. Okay, which story are we taking? In Sun?
Okay, the major headline.
Major headline.
So following all the shout we have been shouting, the CBN led a team, started a team that, visited banks and tested their ATM booths, and they were shocked. In fact, they mentioned some of the banks, but we will mind our business.
Why?
Let's just mind it. It's the CBN's business. The regulatory body, they should regulate.
Okay.
So they found that, all the banks and their ATMs were issuing old, dirty notes. So it's not just the old notes, but the dirtiest ones.
They will take my own.
And they will not take from other people. So they said that they made it easier. They put in measures so that each bank can come in, carry the new notes that, they've printed and exchanged. They made sure they provided for the new notes. So they're available new notes, but the banks it's some sort of conspiracy. And they said that so they would take serious actions against that move. And they also said that on the possibility of a shift, it's not likely, according to the spokesperson, Kure. He said it's unlikely that there will be a shift of that date from the ending of the month. And so banks, please, you just make the money available and stop playing.
Oh, please, how does it sound to you? They say that there is money, but the banks have refused to collect.
It's like we're
I think
blaming.
they have a way of picking up. So CBN is in every state. Banks go there every day, of course, to pick up new
But
notes.
obviously it's not available,
Pick
and somebody
up
is
the
not
new notes.
acknowledging.
But
But
they
it
just
was then you know
refuse-
that they did not take it.
But okay, let's see.
They just
Let's
refuse
see
to
if
go and
the
pick up our
hot
sanctions.
topic.
I know.
Let's see if the sanction happens.
Okay.
Said appropriate actions
people
with
make
penalty.
sense.
Let me take the
Let's
story
see
of the
if it
police
happens.
because
Need to
we've always said that the police is not paying benefits to the fallen heroes. So it's important for me to take this story, and I'll take it very slowly. I know I talk very fast. So the Inspector General of Police, Usman Baba, has presented 13 billion naira to police officers killed while on duty between 2012 and 2020. According to the report, a total of 6,128 families of the deceased and their personnel received the money and the benefits, ranging from 6 million naira to about 500,000 naira to the beneficiaries. He said that this has been a backlog, and I mean, of course, he apologized for the fact that it's been long-standing, but he sympathized with the families of the deceased over the loss of their breadwinners, urged them to utilize the funds judiciously in training their children, and assured them that the police, under his leadership, would continue to do more in advancing their welfare, interest, and that of serving people. So that's a good thing. I mean, I know we like to criticize Nigerian police and all the time, but when they do good things, let us highlight it. So 13 billion has been paid as benefits to their families of the deceased and those who have died on duty, and those who have even been injured on duty that are not able to work again. That's a good thing. Yeah. So I just hope that they're able to use it. Okay, another story. Let's move on to Vanguard.
No, let's take the story of...
You don't answer now.
PDP, back to Ibadan. Let's just quickly visit Ibadan again. This particular story carries Atiku's campaign promise in that he reiterated the fact that he is going to restructure Nigeria if he becomes Nigerian president. He also said that he was going to end strike. There would not be any break in academic year. He would unify Nigeria and solve insecurity challenges. He mentioned he appreciated the governor, Seyi Makinde, for allowing the rally take place and even ensuring they had the ability to do it peacefully. And that's all.
Okay, moving on.
That's good. Even though he didn't host him, but he was graceful enough to acknowledge him.
Federal government increases petrol price to 185 naira to the liter. Presidency, why we prefer Obi, says Obasanjo and Otom. Elections will make or mar Nigeria, says Catholic bishops. Will secure every inch of Nigeria, says Tinubu. And, okay, those are the stories. Which story are we starting with?
NDDC
Yes.
appointment. So, yes, one Mrs. Rita Lori Ogbebo had taken the federal government to court on the body that, personalities that constitute the NDDC board. And, the court ruled yesterday that the section she was relying on provides that only corporate entities can bring actions on any infractions against the NDDC or in the conduct of the business of the NDDC, including appointments. Fortunately, she raised it, the court upheld it and struck out that she has no local standing to bring that action.
Yes, so we have the federal government has officially increased the price of petrol from 8.8% to, by 8.8%, that's from 170 naira per litre to 185. They said the ex-depot price has also shot up from 148 per litre to 167 naira. Many fuel stations have adjusted, but people are saying that many filling stations are already even selling above these new prices, so it doesn't seem realistic. With the major marketers of the Association of Nigeria, MOMAN, and also IPMAN are saying that, you know, there's a scarcity. Most of them do not even have these petroleum products right now. For them, even if once this memo has come out, they don't mind, but they need to even have this, the petroleum products stocked. And say retailers of petrol in Lagos have adjusted their pump prices between 290 and over 300 naira per litre. So it just seems that government is trying to play catch up with what is happening on ground. But as we all know, there are long queues everywhere. There are few petrol stations with petroleum products that are selling, and those that are selling are using advantage of the scarcity to increase their prices above official rates. So
former President Olusegun Obasanjo has said that he prefers Peter Obi for president. He has said that he was defending his decision for supporting Peter Obi, saying that he never used the word endorse, but he did say he prefers Peter Obi, saying that anybody who only an unpatriotic and bad Nigerian would vote for a candidate with a bad character. Governor Benue said also said that he would, if he was in Labour Party, would have totally carried Peter Obi's placard, but also Peter Obi is his own preferred candidate for the election. So everybody is coming out to declare.
Endorsed.
Obasanjo said, I not use endorsed, but I prefer, he's the most preferred of all. He also said that, they all claim that he's mentees, and if he's your mentor, you should know that he knows you very well. Okay. And of this, he has picked the one that he prefers.
Interesting.
They have to wrap a final story.
Really sad story about a 32-year-old student who is now 32-year-old. 9 years ago, he's been in prison for 9 years, and he said he languished in prison based on the disbanded SARS that arrested him with his friends in the claim that they were in a stolen bus. They arrested the driver and released the driver and the bus because they bribed, but because they didn't give bribe, they were kept in prison for 9 years. In that time of torture, 2 of his friends died. He was the only one that survived the 9-year ordeal, and thankfully he was released December last year when a key witness to the case died. That was the only reason. That was the only reason they kept him, was because there was a witness saying that he's a criminal and he's a provost student. He needs a national
compensation. In fact, the whole of Nigeria owes him an apology for that. The Nigerian system owes him an apology. That is a really sad story. That's the kind of person that the president should be shaking and giving. All right, that's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, move on to our hot topic of the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So, submission is something we hear always when you want to get married. Wives submit to your husbands, husbands love your wives. And today's conversation is how submission could be modified, or is it being modified? I would say that in many cases, submission has been modified in the sense that a lot of women are empowered today. Many women are doing a lot of things men do. And things have changed. But to what level should things change? And I say that to say this, you know, there's some parts of this submission part that women are asking for a review of some sort. And the review, especially when it comes to permission, asking for permission, you say, oh, you know, he's your husband, you can't do anything without his permission, you have to get your husband's approval. Yes, but there are different kinds of approvals that women are talking about. Are saying, must I ask for everything? I want to travel abroad. He says no. I want to have my master's. He says no. I want to get a job. He says no. I want to have one more child. He says it's not time. I want to do this. You know, there's always that ask. And women are saying, well, I'm an adult. I understand your position, but there's some things I should be allowed to do as a human being, as a wife and as a mother and as a woman. What are your thoughts on this, seeking permission? This conversation started from a blog who was saying that women are complaining the fact that they couldn't do certain things because their husband didn't give them permission, things that they wish they were able to do. What are your thoughts on this? Because these are conversations some of us don't trivialize. We make it like it's not a big deal now. You know your husband, whatever he says, just try to convince him, beg him, continue to beg him. Others are saying, no, it's my life. And they do it. And some of us have found that those who do what they want to do, sometimes their husband eventually adjust. Okay, she has done it. We'll adjust it. So those who now submitted. And I was like, maybe I should be like that, my friend, that just went ahead to do what she wanted. At least she traveled. She came back and she begged him and it was okay. And nothing happened. Heaven did not fall. What are your thoughts on this? Should we begin to modify what submission means? Should we modify what permission, how far permission should go? What are your thoughts? You can call us on 08127053687, 09139076948. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourView TVC so we can read your tweet. Mariam, I want to start because I know I will start with you. I'm sorry.
No,
my worry is, do you think it's still right to ask for permission? Or is it the word we're using that is wrong? What are your thoughts on this?
Me, I don't understand asking for permission of my husband. I understand discussing something and then based on our shared values and what we want for the family, we either agree or disagree or come to a compromise. I don't understand it. And I'm not just speaking for myself, even my husband does not understand giving permission to a whole, full adult. But I'm not comfortable with this decision you're about to take, and this is why. And then he hopes that I see his why, and if it's convincing, if it is a stronger argument, then why not? And if he gives his why, and I'm able to give a stronger argument, then like, okay, then I see reason. I feel that marriage, yes, is definitely about compromise. We have a path for our family, and if you do a certain thing, it may derail the family. I understand that, but permission to go and visit my parents, and permission to go and visit my auntie that lives down the road from my parents, permission to wear this wrapper or wear this dress. I don't get those sort of permission. It does not. I've never seen it around me. It does not work for me. And when people say, usually, honestly, when I hear people say this, I feel like they're just using their husbands to hide behind their own decision. When someone says, I can't make it to your decision. My husband says, you cannot, I cannot come. I'm like, yeah, right. Just say you could not come. I just don't get it.
Okay, let me come.
Even I do it now. So if I don't want to come for something you're doing, my husband, let me talk to my husband. Okay, I don't live in that kind of house. But this example, in fact, last year, towards the end of last year, a friend's mother was turning 70. And she had said, Nima, I know you will not come. But it was an evening event. It was around 4 to 6 in Bagada, and I was getting ready around 3 to drive out around 4. And my husband was like, you won't come off our house. Come back. When you won't come back? I said, no, when they finish. As in, when will they finish? Okay, now you want to be night crawling. So when he made it about that, I was like, there's nothing there. As a Muslim woman, I just thought, well, I sat back down. It wasn't about no permission, nothing, or that kind of thing. I do a lot of things freely. Don't discuss it. But when the excuse, because there was really no code for this. But African women pushed it so much that it became a code. And you saw overbearing men take it as power. They will say, I say no. I say, you dare not. You want to visit your mom. He is not visiting your mom. They will find religious code for it. I'm saying it because I'm a Muslim. Women want to visit their parents. They'll say, my husband did not permit. His power to not permit is that he is doing it on your behalf. He's not abandoning your parents and saying, since I have married you, I have shopped you, I have bought you, and you no longer are their daughters. So he doesn't have that power. Oh, no, you can't go. It's a far distance. It's about protection and safety. Maybe your parents are up far one mountainous, difficult road terrain. He can say no. And he goes on your behalf, not abandon your parents with a permission. Yeah,
but there's some issues where it's bordered around jealousy, insecurity. A man is insecure, doesn't want you to say, oh, you're going to a friend's party. I don't like that friend, you're not going. and you know your friend, yes, maybe she has some shortcomings here and there, but you want to go and support her friend. It's like, you can't go, simple. So it's because of there's some reasons why they tell you not to go, not because it's for a valid reason, but it's for selfish reasons. What are your thoughts on it?
If it's about that, I will go and see my friend.
That's
so
let
let me talk about this obedience thing. The truth is, we live in a country.
Obedience is a new word in this season.
Permission, getting permission, and women obeying their husbands. I think that we all might have those kind of marriages where we have partners that understand our level of independence, give us some level of independence, but that's not the reality in the majority.
Yes,
the majority of Nigerian families have men. Majority of Nigerian men feel like I am a man. We are eating eba in the house, we eat eba. If I don't eat eba, they say what your husband does not eat, a woman does not cook it. So you cannot say, I can't say, I don't like, my husband doesn't like what I am, but I love it, I'll cook it, and then I'll cook his own food. Traditionally, we obey. You are meant to listen and serve and submit.
That was 1945.
It's not 1945, but it's still happening. And I remember a few months before I got married, a friend of mine that used to do makeup, she was very vibrant. She got married. Her husband said she should not fix her nails anymore. Like, babe fixed her nails on her wedding day. And after the wedding, the husband said she should remove the nails and never fix it again. And started putting rules on ground. And I'm wondering, is this guy works in a bank? Like, I know him. He's educated now. Why are you doing like this? Well,
so it's a part of that insecurity.
There are many people with several issues, and based on their, even if they even issues, background, many men with their background, how they saw their own family be managed, and so they are relating with their wives the way their father related with their mother. So the reality is not what we modern times, and we need to address that. And then, for you to make peace reign, a lot of women have found a way to compromise.
Yeah.
So if my husband says I cannot travel, I'll find a way to cajole him. Oh, I'll wait when we are in the other room. When we finish, I'll sneak it in. That's what our mothers were doing. They will cook correct food.
Yeah,
after it takes like two scoops, they will now say, okay, my darling, what I want to ask you about that travel, I want to go for wedding with my friend that her younger sister is getting married. They say because he's in a good mood. Find a good mood to ask the question. This is the reality of how we grew up.
For me. Yeah, it's that good mood that will scatter everything.
And the truth is also the other way around. There are things that my husband would want to ask me. I would see the way. So it's not I'm not the one that has to cajole. Even he knows that there are some things he may have to cajole and persuade me for. So when you say, give me independence, give me permission, that's not how it works. And
but when you start asking, you are relinquishing.
That's not the way it should work.
No, that's not the
when
way
you
it
start
works.
asking, when some men are not wired like that, that wasn't their exposure.
Yeah.
But women come in and relinquish their independence to the men by asking, insisting.
Yes.
Then when they get a controlling husband, they still come back and join other women and say, I'm controlling this
But you were the one that...
But you were the one that really...
Because my mom was telling me a story of
Let
how...
me have to go on the break. When I come back, I really want to hear this because what you said is very powerful.
Yeah.
So men don't come in with that intention.
Some
But
men.
you come in that,
you can't say yourself.
you're not my husband, do whatever you say.
Whatever you say.
And then it now does to a level, you're now wondering,
Yeah,
he's controlling. Let's go on a break. We'll dig this further. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. All right, so we're talking about this issue of permission, and during the break, Toko was reminding us the fact that we get callers calling this show every time saying, your husband permitted you. Your husband even allowed you guys to come on this show. And the truth is that if we didn't have our husband's permission, would we be here?
At our jobs?
Let's not call it permission.
It's permission.
It's not permission, it's support. It's support. I support him in his business. I support my husband when he's doing his own projects. If it is fund, I will help. If it is in brainstorming, he will bounce ideas off with me. If it is in, okay, I just need time to think. I don't want the children to disturb us. I will keep the children busy so that he can focus. I am supporting him. So if I also need support in fulfilling my own goals, he would also support me. So but it buttresses my point earlier, which is to say that what we are talking about is among the minority of very modern men. The majority of men in Nigeria, in Africa, if we choose to go in that way, still feel like I'm the head of the house. I own the family. I married you. I brought you into this house.
I gave you my
way or the highway.
And I gave you my name. And you know, you are bearing my children. You know, so sort of like everything you do
Let me give an example.
reflects on me. So they take responsibility.
So before I met my husband, I used to travel. Every year I tried to do something. You know, I was a traveler, and he met me traveling. In fact, on our honeymoon, my MD, all expense paid trip and ticket to France as a wedding gift. So he met me traveling. As we entered, Oga said, "Hey, what is your gallivanting? It has to stop, and it's because we're trying to build a family. We don't need money to." So I understood. So it was that conversation of, this your every small money you're flying, every small money, stop it. So I agreed, and we did that. But after a while, I wanted to travel. And he just kept saying, no, we don't have money. Yes, you have money in the savings, but the savings money should not be money to go and buy ticket and buy and stuff. No, that is not. So he didn't permit for me to travel until, was it not last year? When did I even travel? It was last year.
Yeah.
Sometime after we got the house, yes. Said that let's do. So he was saying that every money we have, let's do a big project.
And
let's do something.
Now.
So there was a goal to go buy a house, but I still wanted. At least I was earning money. I wanted to travel.
Let's put it in perspective.
Until now, after they got the house, and I said, bros, you don't want to buy the house now. Oh yeah, make I travel. Then he now said, okay, go ahead, go and buy it. So someone to look at from outside in. Oh, now he has given you permission to travel, but. Now, so would you call that permission or would you call that support? Or what kind of words would you use for that?
You're a unit. You know, one can disagree and say, no, we're not buying a cup now, we're prioritizing a phone. We're not buying a phone now, we're prioritizing a car or something. Because you are together and your finances are together. So that is a different thing from controlling men. What we are discussing here are men who just say, I look at you, your yellow is not looking yellower. You're not going anywhere.
But that could be seen as control, Nima, because somebody who's used to traveling can say, I've always done that all my life. I've always used long hair all my life.
But you know, for not married now, for just they travel.
But there are different things. Different things you do. Something you're used to. Somebody now says, don't do it anymore. So, or somebody you're used to see your mother every weekend.
Some point,
he says, no, you can't see your mother every weekend. Or you're used to going to go and see your aunt. You're used to going to doing certain things. Now you're married. I'm saying, no, you cannot go and see your mother every weekend. You see her once a month.
Context is very important. This conversation, especially with your own example, is about the fact, as I said in the beginning, about the goals for the family. We are putting money aside for something. If we use this money, it will mean that it will take us longer to achieve that thing. Or it will mean that we will not achieve that thing. And then you insist on doing what you have to do, in spite of how it would affect your home. That is not a partner. You're not being a partner. You're being a me person. And so whatever plans he would make, and then he watch you and decide that whatever plans he's going to make concerning his life and for the family going forward, it will be without you.
You become selfish
and then you
partners.
come back 10 years later and you see he has sort of built a life away from you and you're complaining to the world because you refuse to be a partner. Partners do not give permission. Partners remind us when we are, of our goals, when we are distracted by many things, we're chasing our dreams. Remember, this is the reason why we're chasing this dream. Remember, this is why we're doing this. Those are what partners do. We have people that leave you to do you. Girl, do you. Just be going. Those ones, too, don't even care about you. Because they have decided within themselves that this is about me and that's about you. They are the ones that tomorrow you are vexed, you want to leave the house. They say, that watch you're wearing, please give me. That thing you're wearing, because they believe that you're separate. Right? So that's an example of partnership.
A man must have about what he possesses, what he values,
what he loves.
What he loves. So there's that small level, but the control, there's also a thin line where control just tilts into abuse. So there was a time in my own marriage, I'd been booked to host an event. And I had committed, I said, I'll be available. And 2 days before I fell ill. I was on treatment. And the Saturday morning, I just got up and I was going to the event. And my husband was like, you're not leaving this house. every language I heard was controlling. And I kept saying, I'm not leaving this house for waiting now. He was concerned.
So is that there's a thin line?
There was a way he kept
Control
dropping
and
it.
permission.
So I stayed back and I called my auntie. Apparently, he had also called my auntie. I said, please help me beg him. This is the event. These are the kind of women at that place that I must associate with. I will manage this body, it's my body, to the event. And my auntie was like, okay, don't worry. He will come in and give you your car keys. That was when I drew the line, because that was the control. So when he walked out of the house to avoid a fight, he had gone with my keys. And when he came back, I was like, you took my keys. Let me borrow your car. I want to borrow your car and go for the event. When I come back, we'll address the issue. So I went for the event. I came back and said, take your car keys. This is my 2 leg. I used to find my own progress. Since we cannot progress together, and it's your health. I was worried. Why do you want to overwork yourself?
So you explained it.
And I said, hey, we were having the conversation, and I kept trying to convince you I'll be fine. Not take my keys. To take my keys is to sort of control me and lock and shut me in. Some people will say, no, it's my daddy that bought
love.
You carry yourself with the dignity. I was saying earlier that some women relinquish that control. They give it and say, I submit. It's a marriage thing.
Yeah.
My dad wasn't this kind of man.
Thank you.
But my mom
I want us to...
was the one telling him how to control and submit.
I have a friend that was just telling me, I'll come to you talk right now, a friend, just very recently. She was telling me that when she got married, her husband is this, he's a minister, I think, or maybe he became a minister after, I don't know. But he was like a very religious person. And so she had to do a lot of things just to conform to, do her hair in a certain way, stop doing weave-on, she really, really conformed. But now I met her now, we're all looking all pretty. I'm right, before, I used to look so hot. But when I got married, I had to stop this. I stopped wearing this, I started wearing that. But now I'm back. I want to wear myself. She now wants to come over, and it's a struggle because her husband is upset that, who are you becoming? But she's like, this is who I've always been. But I changed for you. Because so is that thing you're saying we relinquish who we are? Say, okay, because I am now married, let me now be mommy, I be iya, something. You now change everything. When you now get to a certain stage in your life, you feel that, no, I want to be a girl again. I want to be a young lady. So that now causes friction. So we should try not to be who you are from day one, continuously.
What you cannot take, what you will not be able to live with for the long term. And it's a conversation.
What is a compromise? How do you compromise?
Marriage is compromise. There is
It's
no
not compromise
marriage.
for not doing
there's
makeup.
No stand. There's
Because
no.
my husband doesn't want me to do makeup.
There's no. But would I be comfortable? Some people can be comfortable without doing makeup forever. That's not a problem. But if you say compromise and say I'm not going to
have an ambition,
I'm not going to work, and I can afford not to work for the first 6 years or 10 years when I'm raising children. But you cannot say I will never work. Why would you conform my entire life, confine my entire life to say? So we are talking from the good side, and honestly, grateful to God, we do actually have what should be a good side. Ideal, we can have a conversation, no matter, even if we argue it out, we listen to one another and try to resolve a solution. That is really not the reality for some people. Some people cannot go to work. They want to do a contract. They get a job. They say you have to do the job in Abuja. Their husband will say you are not flying to Abuja, and they don't go. They leave their job because of the husband. People, your job would involve you traveling, and the man will tell you you cannot travel. I have a cousin who's, every time I call, I'm like hearing, I can't take your call. Come here on WhatsApp. I'm in Ghana. I'm in South Africa. I'm in Kiniko. Or guys, the one doing school runs because she's flying. And he did that consistently all through the children being in primary school. Now they're in secondary school. He allowed himself to sit and support the wife. That is not normal in most settings, and we must normalize it. We must start allowing, if my wife is doing well, I will help her. If I am flying, let her help me. But it must not be that a job of a man is to suppress a woman so that she will feel good. It's the ego that my wife is in my house. Anything I tell her, she will do it. You have a wife that does not listen to you,
that will not cook for you,
that will not pound yam in the morning. Anything I want, my wife.
Mr. Lunga, you're washing plates. Your wife is watching TV.
Let me take this stuff. Let me take this stuff from Hassan. Hassan, are you there? Hello, Hassan.
God, that's a sweet drama. We hear that too.
Please, do you know why I choose to talk today? It's because of the sensitive nature of this topic and the adverse effect it will have on the home states.
Adverse.
I have talked, and there was a professor, a woman, said something. She said, look, if you are about independence, marriage is not for you. She was speaking to women. And also, if you are about independence as a man, marriage is not for you. Because the checkmate is there for both of you. Toba, you said something. When that Obara came on television, or not Obara, a lady politician for Kaduna, she said, women are complimenting men. You came out and said, no, they are collaborating. You don't believe in that word complimenting men. Secondly, today you made another word that look, you don't seek permission, you seek support. It's an affront of men. Men are really feeling pain about this. Because a man cannot be a provider and be ridiculed to the background.
Is that ridiculous?
Man must have a say. Man is the head. Whether we like it or not, man is the head. We should learn to respect men. We should stop ridiculing men. Because men choose to keep silent. This is not the silence of conspiracy. This is just decided just to keep quiet, not to say anything. Man is considered to be a failure if you could not provide for his family. That is a challenge on the part of men. But for you to think that you can just say anything here, look, it's very, very wrong. I start to disagree. Women have a right, yes, but men have much more upper right. And we should now begin to respect them, not to ridicule men, not to think we can trap the steering with the men. It's not right. A woman should be diplomatic. You understand? She will get whatsoever she wanted to get. Not to think of this right. This right is a problem. It's a serious problem. Much more about this, our educated women. You will see my emphasis on much more this educated women. This right. Good morning.
All right. Thank you very much, Hassan. Hassan has just given us the exact response we expect from a lot of men, and that's the reality in Nigeria. We'll discuss Hassan's comments after the break. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Joining our conversation, our gist, is a Nigerian multi-award-winning actress, creative and highly talented lady who has graced our screens in different roles for over 25 years and won several awards. Please welcome with us the delectable Bimbo Akintola in the building.
In the building. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
So she'll be speaking about her career a bit later, but first she has to join this our gist. So before you came, we were talking about this issue of permission. We're initially talking about how men seem to be also domineering, or women always sometimes relinquish their independence to a man. Once you enter marriage, you feel like, whatever he wants, let me just take it. And then we had a caller, Mr. Hassan, scattered the table. He said that men, it's ridiculous, we're trying to ridicule men. He said that men have the upper hand because they're the providers and they must be treated as such. And so we wanted to discuss it because Tokpo was trying to make us understand that the men understanding a woman's progress is a minority. That most men aren't really like that. Most men are still in Hassan's wavelength. They're still in Hassan's compartment where they feel that they're the man, whatever they tell their wives to do, that's it. So we need to find some kind of a middle ground, and that's what this conversation is about. I'd like to take a few comments on social media before I hear your views. Yes.
But the Mosi Eric says, Moria was on point with the traveling instance she made. I wonder why Topper was trying to dress it up. Simple. Her husband never wanted this traveling spree for whatever reason. She respected and obeyed as a virtuous woman. There's no other way to interpret it. Philebe.
Immaculate Boy says, married 18 years ago, started a business for wifey in 2010. Now she has 2 big shops and doing good. She goes out early, comes back late and all. I really don't care again. what I intended for good is now working against me.
So he sees that as against him.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes. On YouTube, they said, man is the head. Man is the head, headmaster. They said, Hassan, Mr. Hassan, don't vex so. We have heard you, you are the head. And a lot of comments referring
So
to...
I would like to hear Bimbo's comments on this, but let me let you...
Okay, Abiodun of Lagos says, if I grant all permissions to do things desired, we might even end up not trusting each other. Will that not lead to a failed marriage? And who wants that? Even God doesn't grant all prayer requests.
All right, so I guess when you think of two adults coming together, it's right now, in this instance, you have to... I'm trying to see how we can redefine submission. Can we redefine it, or submission you have to submit?
I think a lot of people are still stuck with the traditional roles that our mothers and their mothers played. And the reason for this, they forget, is because women then were housewives mainly. And the man was the provider. But now, it's a different thing. We have economic depression. We have all sorts going on in the world, in Nigeria as well. So it takes two incomes to make a home. And if you have two incomes making a home, we're not saying the woman should all of a sudden become the boss, but it should be a partnership. That's the only way we can move forward.
And I'd like to hear from Hassan again, because in the situation where he's saying that a man is the provider, but in a lot of cases, maybe you are the provider in your home, but in many homes, the women are the providers. Or
they are
50-50.
collaborating.
There's a partnership.
Yes.
You know what I even find that argument to be flawed is because you're saying that you are demanding respect because you provide. But if you expect respect from your wife, whether you're the provider or not, isn't that better for a family? So her respect is not determined by whether you provide or not. So when you lose your job or you lose your source of livelihood and she takes up the role, does that mean that she should now disrespect you? But she respects you regardless. You would not need to tell us, I am the provider or not the provider. She will respect you. And is that not better to have that sort of partner, that sort of partnership, and that sort of example for your children when they grow up?
I was even going to say, let's not make it about provision. Let's make it about you marrying an adult. Let's hope that both of you are two matured individuals. So, but the way we see it is like, you know, in those days, you wake up on the side of your husband. You don't even have to know him. In our culture, in our church, you just do your marriage rights. It's your in-laws you see. You wake up in the morning, you see Daddy wa. The person is like 20-something years, your father's mate. You dare not be...
Excuse me.
Sorry. So you don't have an identity. You don't exist.
Yes.
You know, or you marry, and some women, like what we experienced back in university, those who married while we were schooling. I'm now Mrs. Dagbaja. Don't you refer me to me by first name? You relinquish identity. You lose yourself. You know, it's not about, it is two individual. I said to someone recently, it is foolish to assume that you can take decisions, that the consequences of it affect somebody else's life, and say that that person has no say in it. What you're trying to breed is enmity and problem for yourself.
But Nima, when a woman tries not to be herself, when she tries to be herself, they say, you're not submitting.
It's not fight.
You're not submissive. They accuse her of not being submissive.
I didn't change my name. Before I added Zibri to my name, I joined the show. I added it so people can understand I'm married. Prior to that, I was Nima Kashat for years, and it was a decision I made as a single girl. I received hits for it. And I did not fight everybody that spoke to me. I explained why. That I cannot lose that identity. That is who I am. Or else there's no marriage. You understand? You make it, you
insist on your way.
You sell something. You don't fight. So you're not rudely saying it. You're explaining it respectfully. But you let people understand it. Now, a lot of people have normalized it. People are doing it. I'm not even hearing that I was a mad person at the time again.
Let me take this call from Lawal Jubira. Come back to you, Bimbo. Lawal Jubira, are you there?
I'm here.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yes.
I coincidentally monitored the program this morning, unlike me having that. And I realized that when you're discussing what is very germane, society as a whole, mostly in the African setting.
Okay.
Listen to your views. And I want to come in this way. First and foremost, I'm a Muslim, and a cleric for that. The Quran told us that we will marry our Rijal and our Mun Allah Nisa. Our Mun was strength, make pillar, make support. For two reasons.
It's protection.
A man, yes, protection, support for a woman.
Wait, no, press on.
For two reasons. Because of what Allah has given to men in honor, and because they spend out of their wealth to maintain the home. I'm not pushing that philosophy, but I want us to compare the African environment and the European environment and look at the peace that we seem to be having in our state in Africa and the chaos that they have in the African setting and the European setting. America, for instance, we had a 6-year-old child shooting his teacher in school. What do you think could have led to that? I am thinking that the father figure role in society cannot be pushed aside. When we go down into the history.
And we're going to go down into the history, but I think that all of us on this show, we hear with filters. Many of our viewers, they hear us and they select their trigger words. And once it triggers them, they don't hear anything else. Yeah. We have not said that anybody, any woman, should disrespect or quarrel or fight her husband. The conversation is we are partners, we're supporting one another. Of course, every ship or plane must have a head. Captain. There must be a captain. There must be someone in charge. But the person mustn't be unreasonable. That you will not hear when somebody says there's a bird here, or there's something here, something will hit us if we go that way. The reason you are too is so you can see more from different perspectives. And culturally, we don't listen. Many men that don't listen to their women, they might not acknowledge it, but they suffer off from it because there's an opportunity to get a very, very important intuitive perspective that men are not wired to have. So it is your strength, not your weakness. It is a collaboration that makes you stronger. But what we do is we are competing and we're fighting and we're quarreling and thinking, I am superior, I'm your head, you are the neck, I cannot move, you are moving.
Failing to benefit from the resource you have in the house. What are your thoughts on this? I mean, I'd like to hear your own perspective.
What she just said is so important because men don't have that intuition that women do have. It's totally not there. Look, my belief is that it's a partnership. No matter what you say, yes, there's a slightly bigger partner. We accept that, but it's still a partnership. How would you feel if your daughter, who you've trained to the fullest, now is married and suddenly has no say in her home? How would you feel as a father?
About herself.
How would you feel as a father seeing your child, all of a sudden, you've trained her, you've given her the best of the best, she's married to someone and all of a sudden she's nobody. She can't stand up without the man saying stand up.
Auntie Bimbo, because of the years.
It's permitted.
Because I watched you when I was in just one. Look at this one. This example she just gave, I have 2 uneducated neighbors that we lived in my parents' area from my tribe. They're from Fuga. And the woman, yes, they met, they were not so educated, but she was lucky. She found favor. Someone gave her a contract in an oil company, a multinational in Port Harcourt, where she was in charge of catering. As she grew, money came. And this man just used to sit at home and chat with men who are from my region as well. And they would be telling him how she's controlling him, how she has too many freedom to be in Port Harcourt while they live in Lagos. You could have moved, but he refused. So he forced her to resign. So she sold that contract to a friend who took over her catering there.
My goodness.
She came to Lagos. She had just 1 child, had several miscarriages. We didn't know money was an issue. He couldn't provide. And she, in Lagos, she was suffering and suffering. Then she had 1 ectopic or so pregnancy that she needed money for surgery. She had to call favors to help her save her life. She divorced him. You cannot incapacitate a person just because God gave you. You have to be reasonable at it. What we are emphasizing here is controlling men. My husband still has the say in his house. We will discuss. Sometimes I will kneel and call God that God help me to change his mind on this thing that I must do. I will give it time. Sometimes I will wait at it because we are a unit. But not that you will see me and the opportunities that will change my life. And then when the thing now fails, you want to have peace in your house. Women can be a bag of trouble. I will make you uncomfortable. In your own house, you'll be eating salt and pepper excesses. You don't want that kind of discomfort. Women do. I'm just giving an example.
Let me take this call from Joel.
You don't want that kind of trouble.
Joel, are you there? He's been holding for a minute. Good morning.
Yes, I'm here.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
I've been very patient with you, so you
I'm
have
so
to be
sorry.
patient with me too.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, this is my opinion, and this is how it works in my marriage. Whatever decision that I will take that will affect my wife, I need her consent before I take such decision. And whatever decision my wife will take that will affect me,
she needs my consent.
Very important.
But if there's anything I will do that does not affect my wife, I don't need to discuss it with her. And whatever my wife will do that does not affect me, she does not need to discuss it with me.
She's an independent.
Before she married me, she's a grown-up adult. She has her life.
Independent.
True.
So do I have my life too.
John.
So my own belief is that we need to carry ourselves along in situations where these things affect both of us.
Yeah.
But that does not put aside our individual lives that we were living before we came together.
Right.
Thank
This
you.
is how it works
Thank
for
you
me.
very
My
much,
wife is not a slave to me, and I'm not a slave to her.
Thank you so much, Mr.
John,
John.
where were
I'd like
you?
to hear Mr. Akatugba's, we can call Mr. Theo because he deals with stuff like this. I'd like to hear his own perspective too. It's good to have different men join this conversation to give us different angles because, you know, this is such an important, there are two critical things I want us to leave with this morning. The fact that women, that point you said that we relinquish who we are once we enter that marriage. That's so important because when we do that, we need to review that, how we do it, especially those getting into marriage for the first time. It's who you are today that you must enter marriage with. Yes, I know counselors, big sisters, aunties said, when you come to us, you have to just calm down. No, you will calm down. But you see, how do we draw the line between coming down and not losing who you are? Because that's the relinquishing you're talking about. Because 1 minute you are submitting, but tomorrow you're like, I want to do this. Yes, I'm going to stop working because you want me to stop working. But I really want my education. I have 2 degrees. I want to be able to work at some point in my life. So how do you have both?
I had a conversation with someone younger who is, you have your call?
Good.
Okay, who is, you know, asking me questions about choosing a partner and deciding who he'll marry. And he said that he's a Muslim. Yes, he's half his family is Christian, but mainly he's a Muslim. That's his identity. And there are 2 women in his lives, and they're insisting that he embraces Christianity more. And he's trying to decide. I said, you're deciding about your identity. So there are 2 things. You can lie to them and say, sure, I can be what you want me to be. And then you get married, and then you cannot pretend any longer. And also for the women, if it is so important to you to be with a Christian, why are you dating a Muslim
in the first place?
Why are you there? That should just mean X and you move on. So we find ourselves in relationships, we know we're not meant to be there, hoping to just get married. And then when you get married, you start blaming everyone. You cannot say that. I always say this. I said, I've never been interested or attracted to any pastor, deacon, born-again person in church. Never. I would have been that mommy Gio that would not come for your midnight prayers and stuff like that. And then because I want to get married and there's someone showing interest in me, I will get married and then go into that marriage and just cause wahala. So from the beginning, know who you are, know what you want, and don't...
I have a caller. I'll come to you, Bimbo, in a second. Mr. Akatugba, are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, so good to have you. Please help us out in this because we've heard from 2 different kinds of men. You know, the domineering man, you know, that the critical man, upper hand. And the other men are saying, listen, my wife is independent. You know, how do we find a middle ground? Because my worry is the fact that a lot of people are in marriages newly and they are being asked to somewhat remove who they are or stop who they are because they want a peaceful and happy marriage. So how does the submission mean reducing who you are, your identity?
All right, thank you very much. It's a very interesting topic. And this topic is at the crux of the crisis that has been experienced in many marriages. And from the conversation that I'm following, I noticed that a lot of you are rather afraid of an extreme person who abuses this simple regulation. Each time anyone wants to speak, they go on to say we are partners, we're supposed to have an agreement. The moment you are saying that, it means that you are not showcasing or letting people know the word we're discussing permission. We're not discussing submission. The whether you should obtain permission. The wife is subject to her husband. Christian doctrine, I'm sure the Islamic doctrine is similar. Even the Hindu doctrine is also similar. But the doctrine of the generality, which is the worldview, is this issue of whether we are partners. Marriage is not a partnership.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Marriage is a union where the man is the head. And as God said, wives, submit unto your husband in everything. Meaning, another scripture says, obey your husband, that the word of God is not blaspheme. Which means there is a moment when you will disagree. That moment, the submission will be made. Because love relationship means we always enjoy one another. We always do what makes each other happy. That's love relationship. Which means in marriage, it's not a disgrace for the man to be unreasonable. God said, love your wife. So, in executing permission, you will not be doing things to hurt her. You will be giving her permission or withholding permission to protect her. For example, the woman might not know that working in a certain office will endanger her, but the husband will have heard or know the character of the who was there. And if you withhold permission, but the woman might think that it's destroyed by character. Men are spiritual leaders, whether it's a drunkard, whether it's a fool, whether it's a good, God, he has a certain spiritual foresight.
Mr. Theo, just one question.
Let him finish.
Allow him, please.
I want you to
I
finish.
want to
Okay,
ask
go
a
ahead.
question. I need clarity.
Okay, Mr. Akatugba, never wants to jump in. Go ahead.
Just one question. So, you know, is a union, for instance, because men may know that there's danger out there for their women. If the women know that there's even a danger to the institution of their marriage, such that the secretary that the husband wants to employ, you know, it might end up seducing him, and she tries to prevent and decide who he employs. Is it also okay, or she doesn't have?
Really deep spiritual head.
No, she has, once she has got an inclination that there is danger, because God Almighty has a way of influencing us. So she has a feeling that employing this lady will endanger your marriage. The Bible says you should entreat your husband, not to instruct him. Entreat him. Appeal to him. But if he still overrules you, God would have known that he was accepted in marriage and the responsibility before falls on him.
Thank you, Mr. Akatugba. We really have to wrap up there, but you can't win.
So let's just let me just understand.
Let me
People forget something. Women are human beings, first and foremost. We are human beings. We're not your bag that, you know, attached to you to show that you have arrived or you're a man. That's not the truth. We're human beings with dreams, aspirations. What you notice is with our mothers, a lot of them were unhappy.
A lot.
A lot of them were unhappy and lived their lives vicariously through us. I remember when I told my mother I wanted to act, because she wanted to sing. She wasn't allowed. She was like, go for it. She was like, don't let anybody stop you. My dad was unhappy about it. My dad would be talking, my mom would be like, behind, she'd be like, because she wasn't allowed to live her life. So she didn't want the same for us. So when you have this situation where the man is the total authority, that means there will be abuse of power, whether you like it or not, which means women will suffer. Come on now.
Same thing with our country, devolution of powers. In the power, the center
is too strong.
No, we need all the states to have powers. If not, the center will get corrupt. And that's
See, I don't want people watching this show to think, no, these women are feminists. They are pushing our women
I'm not
to
a
be
feminist.
rebellious.
I'm a humanist.
God bless you. They are rebellious. What we are asking is love for yourself, for your spouse, what you exactly love for yourself.
But that's what Akatugba said.
No.
If you love your wife enough, even if you had been the upper hand, you do it out of love.
When we address this issue from that authority of a man in a marriage, we know you are a man. Biology says so. Let's not complicate issues. We want one person to lead. Sometimes, some men even know that the exposures of their wives is much better than theirs. And so in some decisions, they'll be like, until I talk to madam, I don't want to take a decision. That's being a leader. Knowing that you don't know it all. Exactly. The one we are addressing here is the controlling men. I know it or not. I don't care the consequence, but this is what we'll do. The woman will now suffer for 10 years. a decision you took, and you can't even compensate for it. All you have to say for it is, I'm the man. I decided. Let's be speaking English to a human being. Let's see, even your child, there's an age you get to, your child gets to, you can no longer decide for that child.
Exactly, male or female.
Male or female, talk less of woman.
We have to wrap. Unfortunately, we have to wrap up on this because we have a guest which we have to get into our interview. But this is one of those topics that is eye-opening for some of us. It's here for men. You know, sometimes you think that we're in this bubble. You know, all our men are like our husbands. But they're not. All our men aren't like our husbands. You know,
so when the caller calls you to say, we are so grateful for your husbands. You should understand.
Let's go to a break. When we come back, we're going to take a few comments. I have to run. I want to get into Bimbo's.
Yes, let's do that.
When we come back, we discuss with our guests. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. As I said, we have Bimbo Akintola with us. She'll be speaking about her work, career, Nollywood industry, life off the set, and who you are as an internationally recognized and acclaimed actor. Welcome to the show, madam.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here. I've had so much fun with the former topic.
Yes,
it was eye-opening.
Yes. But tell us, what's going on with you? How have you been? What are you working on?
Oh, so many things. I have a Netflix original on now, Far From Home.
Ah, yes. We've all seen that.
You've seen it.
Thank you.
Nice.
It's a topic that's also close to my heart because we're talking about the fact that our teenagers are using drugs.
Yes.
Whether we like it or not, it's happening in Nigeria, and we need to focus more on our children.
Absolutely.
You know, we understand that most of homes have two incomes, and you're rushing here, or guy is going this way, madam is going this way, but the kids, somebody has to keep an eye on them.
Absolutely.
So that's what Far From Home is about, and also how the richer homes give more leeway to their children in terms of how much money they have to spend. So those are part of the things that we're looking at. And also relationships between mothers and daughters.
Yes.
How are you, forming the next generation of women? What are you putting in them? How are you making them strong?
We need more of these kind of movies. Far From Home is good. We need more of these kind of movies. So are you going into production of your own very soon?
Yes, I have a movie coming out, though it's not Yes, I'm very passionate about women and the girl child. Yeah. People say I'm biased, but I think that what I am is concerned that our women get the same opportunities that our men do. And I'm not saying women are good or that they're the end. I'm just saying that they need to get the same opportunities. If you go to other places, that's not Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, and you see some of the lives that these women are living, instant depression. I do a lot of work with Oxfam. I've been to the Northeast. It is deplorable. So a lot of things I do, whether it be film or whatever, has to do with women and children.
Interesting.
So I know that you are in Ijakumo.
Yes.
And
Bimbo,
we had her last week.
Yes.
And you've been in different. You've been on stage. You've been in cinema. You've been on Netflix. And my question is there something in this industry that you feel you haven't done? That like this is the next frontier. This is where I want to go to.
There's always that feeling that you can do much more and you can change much more. Because the truth of the matter is, for me, film is not just about entertainment. It's about being able to change lives, affect lives, tell stories of people so that they can see that, okay, you're not alone in whatever situation you are. So I feel like there's so much more that I still have to do. Yes. I've done a lot of work. I've worked with Ifoma Fafunwa, and it's all about the women. We took our stories, different stories, a collaboration of stories of Nigerian women. We've taken it to America. We work with the New York Repertory Theatre. We performed 50-something performances at Harvard. We took it to the Netherlands. We performed at the Frascati Theatre. They've taken it to so many other places, because unfortunately, after 5 years, I had to stop. But the women are still going. And it's the same stories that we're telling about our girls. Women are the most vulnerable in the society. Women are always the most, with less strength than men. And because of that, we don't even realize how much trauma we go through. In terms of, even as teenagers, you're going somewhere, you're thinking, oh, I've got to be careful because I don't know who's there and what they can do to me. So we basically do live in fear without realizing it.
Absolutely.
We're already victims just because we're women.
Have you ever, because of the roles that you've played, to, promote women's rights, to promote the, change the narrative of women locally amongst our people culturally, have you ever had a backlash from any, have you had an experience of a backlash from any fan or, from public that you'd like to share?
No, not really. I think most of the things I do, people just say, oh, they talk about my acting. And then I have a lot of women, especially with Hereward and other things that I've done. Widows the Morning After, which was by Jimmy Odumosu.
Yes, I saw that.
That for me was, I remember when it first came out, this woman walked up to me and she was in tears. And she's like, that's my story. That's what happened to me. She wasn't a cardiologist, but her husband died, and all of a sudden, the whole family said she had something to do with it. So they did the shaving of the head, they did the drinking of the bath water. They bathe a corpse and give you the water to drink.
Really? I mean, I hear the stories and I think
it still happens. It still happens. Women are still in situations like this everywhere in
because
Nigeria.
we live in Lagos, we always think, oh, it doesn't happen. So people, the phone calls we're getting from people who live in Lagos feel like, oh, it doesn't happen. No, but they are.
Because we can't relate. We don't.
Yeah, this woman was in tears. She was like, I mean, she was educated.
Wow.
She was educated. But because of her children, she did all the rights that they said she should do, just to prove that these kids will not suffer because of my actions. And she was telling me she was in tears. I was in tears. Because when I read the story, I was like, this is far out.
Sadly, women are behind it.
You read that, something like that for the first time and you're thinking, oh, far out, this is crazy. Is this true? And you think it's 20 years before. And then you now have all sorts of people walking up to you and saying, this is my life.
Wow. See, I'm just in awe of you because I have been a huge fan of yours forever. I was telling you when you came earlier that long time ago when I was in university, someone put a call through to you so I could speak to you, and I held that for a long time. I would tell everybody that I've spoken to Bimbo Akintola, and here you are sitting right beside me today. Why I'm a huge fan is just I was so moved by your acting skills. Watching you on TV is watching the character. You would never see you in any, I mean, I can watch different movies and I'm seeing different people. I watched Far From Home. And, you said you were in it. For a minute, I was like, was she? But then I remember you were, but because you were a whole different person. What helped you to be this iconic actress that you are, that gives your all, and just do it so well and so effortlessly too?
The trick, if you can call it that, is not a trick really, is that the script gives you all the information about the character, who they are. You start from a certain point in the script. Of course, but you get the backstory from reading. The way the person talks tells you if they're educated or not. The way they relate with others shows you if they have a generous spirit or not. All those things are there in the script. And once I put that together, what I now do is I go back to when they were children and I build a backstory. So I know the first time, what age she started a period, I know. Her first crush, I know.
You do that all in...
I do all of that because those layers are what makes us. We are the total sum of our experiences. Those are the layers that made us. So I put all those layers. If I see that she's in a relationship in that, and she's a bit stiff in a relationship, she must have had heartbreaks in the past and doesn't want to be vulnerable.
Who taught you that?
She goes to school now.
University of Ibadan.
So, because with these skills, some people will say some people are natural. It's something you are born with. So is it nurture over nature in this case, or a combination of both?
I think also one of the things I do is when I get a story and I read it, if I don't empathize with the female character I'm playing, then there's no need. So I have to understand you and empathize with what you're saying to the world.
Where is Nollywood heading? In the sense that...
Where's Nigeria heading?
Well, the entertainment industry has really left Nigeria. They've gone global.
They've gone ahead,
And I just want to know, where are we? Because the stories are there. We have great stories, but sometimes production or the angles, it's just funding is not always there. So
the technical
the technical qualities are not there. What do you think, I mean, as a veteran also, what do you hope to contribute also to take us to the next level? How do you think we can move?
I think what you'll see in the next 5 years is already it's there. You see certain films and the quality of the technical work is outstanding. The acting is outstanding. And I think that more of that will continue. And I told someone recently, I said, our stories, we don't really tell our stories. We talk about relationships and so many other things, but we don't tell our stories as Nigerians. And that if we don't do that, people from outside Oyinbo will come and tell our stories for us.
Yes.
That's why I was so excited when we did the story of Dr. Adadevo.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love the
93 days.
Yes.
So that was challenging.
It was, and I've seen a lot of your work. I think that you're far apart from some productions because you do Yoruba and English movies, and I've seen so many. You talked about from Out of Bounds, so I would follow the work. You know, so many works that you've done. Do you feel that, I want to just sort of construct Morel's questions, that Nollywood must regulate?
It must.
That not every production must be allowed to fly. I don't know, can they restrict some production, give a standard of what you must have before you can say you're a film producer?
We have standards now. We have grading for films, which shows you what kind of film it is and all that. And also we have, in terms of when you see it on Netflix, you know already that it's a large, it's a huge budget in terms of what we normally shoot. But the truth is, we do need structure in the industry because the way we run the industry now allows for exploitation of people who are not known.
Okay.
You know, there's no regulation in terms of how many hours you can work. You have people working sometimes 24 hours. There's no regulation in terms of children.
Right.
You have children coming on set 11 p.m. There's still a child. I always have like, I'm like, this can't happen. It's child abuse. And it's like, oh, you're just being funny. I'm not. If your child is not asleep by 11, a child is working, it's child abuse. Right. They need sleep for their brains to grow. Hello, send them home. Exactly. So we have all those things going on. Also, the pay gap from the Waka Pass to the established actors is huge.
Really wide.
It's huge. Not that the established actors are getting what they need, what they deserve.
Okay, we have to wrap up because we have very few minutes left. So let's talk about politics for a moment.
This is the season.
This is season. Talk about, you want to go the first?
Obviously, we've seen a few actors and actresses pitch their tent. They've said where they are going to. But one of the prominent actors, Funke Akindele, has decided that she's...
Colleagues. One of your colleagues.
One of your colleagues. She's running as a deputy governor for Lagos State. What do you think about that? And where do you lean?
I think more and more people who feel they have a service to give this country need to step up.
Yeah.
Nigeria needs all the help. They need to step up. If you say you can, you should. I'm with the PCC. I'm working for Ashiwaju. I'm also with CGI, which is a Connecting Grassroots initiative that was started by MC Oluomo, Musiliu Akonde Akinsoya. And what we're doing is going door to door. Normally, I don't share my politics or what I believe on social media. But because of the way people are attacking others, I said, no, we won't be bullied. Every Nigerian has a right to make a choice. My choice might be different from yours, but it doesn't change the fact that we're both Nigerians.
What are the factors that led you to make your own choice?
First and foremost, Ashiwaju builds talent. He finds people who can do things. And look at his cabinet when he was governor. Those are the names we call now. When we want to say, some people say Fashola or Shibanjo. All those people were part of his cabinet. Wale Edu, so many others. And they're the young names, so-called young names that we call in politics now. And they all came from where? From because Ashiwaju sourced them and brought them on. Those are the things that we've seen. And he's also supported so many people. Our industry, for one, you don't need to know him to get support. When we lost Mojolaya, and she wasn't in the country, he brought her in. He paid for everything. So many actors have received help from him, and he doesn't know them from anywhere. He helps, he builds talents, and I know that when he comes, when we see the people that he's going to work with, we will be excited at the changes that will happen in this country. I know he has a vision for Nigeria. And for me, that's what's key. Where we are in the world right now, if you don't have a vision for the country, you shouldn't try to serve. He has a vision.
Okay, so let me take tweets welcoming you. Kali Parker says, welcome Bimbo Akintola to your view. You're looking good. I believe more on men provide. Okay, he goes on to
other topics.
I love that you're with the ladies. And he says there's a slightly bigger partner. I like that. A laughs and says interesting conversation.
Yeah, go ahead, Tope.
We need to go a bit, let me go a bit personal, permit me.
Please.
The truth is, many relationships within the whole Nollywood industries suffer. This thing happens, they married, then it breaks up. Very few of them were celebrating every one of them that are able to keep the marriage together. But you, on the other hand, we don't hear anything about your personal life. Are you married? Are you in a relationship? You have kids?
I'm single. I prefer to keep my private life private. I mean, everything else we do is out there. It's like being a fish in a bowl. You go right, people know you. You go left, people. So there's certain things I just want to keep to myself. So one of the things I guard jealously is my private life. Who I'm dating is nobody's business, it's mine. You're not contributing to the relationship, so therefore it's none of your business.
Oh, wow.
So there's another tweet greeting you. Smith Olawale says, iconic Bimbo Akintola in the house. One of the very best acts we have in Africa. The Queen English herself. Bimbo, we love you.
So Andrew Stratham also says, Bimbo Akintola is very eloquent. Where did she school? Did she school in London?
Nigeria. University of Ibadan.
Tell them.
Graduate from the University of Ibadan, Theatre Arts.
So we have to wrap up. I know that you're like Giacomo. Let me.
Yes, so...
Tell us how has it been on set with the whole team? With
You know, Toye is my baby, and she's so amazing. I love her, and I will constantly support her anyhow I can. I think from her first job that she produced, I was on it, and I've always, over the years, and I always tell her, I said, there's nothing you can't do. There's no limit to what you can achieve, because you have it all. And she does. She does comedy, she can act. She's also a great producer.
True.
So, you know, in the industry, they always like to pit women against each other. And, you know, your name has come in.
Never.
No.
Really?
Yes, you may not know, but we, the
wow.
fans, we know. Okay. So it's not really, so I just want to ask in reality. So as you can tell, social media, we talk without knowing the reality. But in reality, what would you say relationships are like amongst female actors?
I have to be truthful with you. There is that little thing of the fact that you're in the spotlight, and some people will come because they want to associate with what you've achieved and not you.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, relationships with people in the industry is the same thing as people in Nigeria. Yeah. Marriages are collapsing right, left, and center. It's the same thing. It's just that because we're in a little bowl, people are saying, oh, this one has left her husband, husband has left this one. But it's happening everywhere in Nigeria. Absolutely. And it's because I think at the end of the day, we need to sit down at the table and talk about what we really expect in marriage.
I have to wrap up because of time, but I think we need to bring you back for political conversation. The reason is because you seem to be one of the few celebrities that are willing to speak and open up your mind confidently on who you've chosen and why you've chosen that person. Because a lot of celebrities, they're dodging, or some are not, they're not coming out to say it. But when I find somebody who's ready to speak, I'd like to bring you on to discuss why. Because there's so many questions people have about your candidate. And I feel that they are not saying enough about. Maybe if we hear from you, maybe Nigerians can understand where you're coming from. It would be good to have you back.
I'm ready to share.
Great. Let's go on the... that's all we can take on today's show. See you tomorrow.
Welcome them back at the beginning.
Bye for now.
Oh, this is...
Yay.